Hey, what's up, visionaries? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Anton, and yeah, we're here to celebrate 25,000 subscribers. It's nuts. I don't know. I find every time this happens, it's always just a weird feeling. It's like very, I don't know. It's strange. It's like everything. I think every time this happens, I just realize how I put too much emphasis on numbers and how numbers don't actually articulate really much of anything. And that's why it's like, oh my god, like at first it's like, oh shit, we're at 25,000 subscribers. And I go like, what does that even mean? You know, like, does that even mean anything more than, 10,000? And, of course, I'm absolutely grateful. It's incredible. It's just, this is the way my brain works. Like, I'm just, it's kind of like, working your entire life towards something. And when you get there, you're just kind of like, does this really change much? And so that's what I've been realizing. I think, like, getting to this standpoint and realizing that emotionally I feel the same way I did when I hit 10,000 is like, and, I think the biggest emotional kind of thing that hit me was like 5,000. That was like, okay, cool. I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like this is happening. And once I hit 10,000, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm on the track. The track is just propelling me along. And if I just keep putting in the time, the effort, the emotion, and everything, it will get to where I want to get. But yeah. So this is probably like not the super crazy expressive way you were expecting this video, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I like it's been a rough kind of few months. It's been really intense emotionally. Some really kind of ups and downs. I've had some of the best months of my life, just loving life. And yeah, I think I've learned that every time things are really good for me for a while, it's always like, what follows is a time of reflection and growth. And usually that growth happens in terms of challenges that happen emotionally and physically, tangibly with the channel and stuff. But like, obviously, like, this, a big up and down for the last few months has been all the changes happening on the channel. Like I'm just learning that, like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I thought when I started this channel, it was like all metal. It's going to be all metal and a bit of classic rock, a bit of pop. That's about it. Bit of country. And I planned out everything. I was like, this is going to be my audience. This is going to be my community. This is what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, life throws curveballs. And then now I'm doing friggin' 70s, 80s, and 90s and 2000s, like 6 days a week. And then rock is 1 day a week. And then we have like our other, which is 1 day a week as well, which we get into like the more metal. And that's where like country's going to be transitioning, and Spanish music and R&B and stuff. Because it's just like going through all these changes, it makes me like really evaluate, like, what do I actually like? Because obviously with this for so long, like, I ended up catering to whatever people wanted me to do, and at the same time I was exploring, figuring out, trying new things, right? And then now I think I'm kind of at the point where I know what I like. I know what brings me joy. I know what I resonate with. I know what puts me into my monologue mode the most, and that's like really soulful pop music and soulful music in general. I think more than anything. And it's like, that's the vibe I want to be in most of the time. You know what I mean? And, I love every genre. There are things I love in every genre. And what I've realized is, like, R&B is like hit or miss. I love some of it. And then some of it is not really my thing. Same with country. Like, I love some country. Brantley Gilbert, Luke Combs, Rascal Flatts, Chris Stapleton, Brad Paisley, stuff like that. Even like Morgan Wallen. But there's a lot of stuff that, like, I'm really mad on, and that's more behind the scenes. You guys don't even know that. Like, Merrick was sending me a whole bunch of country artists. Like, they're like not their singles, just like their small stuff. Just like, okay, what do you like, right? Because we're trying to figure out before I dedicate the channel to a genre. Like, do I even like that genre? Do I consistently like it? So like that's kind of when I figured out, like, 6 days a week, I want to do things that I kind of know I'm gonna like. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just for my enjoyment too, because I get, I've been burnt out, a few times now, right? I like, even before doing this video, like, I was kind of burnt out last 2 weeks, and I looked at my camera and I was just like, Jesus, like, I don't like, there's so many changes happening in me, and like, it's a very vulnerable time emotionally for me. And I've been kind of a bit frustrated. Like, I'm like, I just, whew, like, there's too much noise, I find, with me sometimes. Like, with this YouTube thing, there's so much noise. There's so many, I love it. Like, there's a lot of comments, right? And I always go back and forth. Like, I'm not gonna read any comments, and then a great, a video I'm very proud of will come out, and then I'll read the comments on that one, and it gets really, people really appreciate it, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. And then you get sucked into that, and you start reading all the comments, and then you hear, and then you start to hear all these opinions and all these, you should do this, you should do this, why do you charge for reactions, why, like, all this kind of stuff. And it just, like, there's just so much noise, you know what I mean? There's just so many. I was talking to my friend Christian yesterday, and I was just telling him, I was like, hey man, like, I'm kind of in the dumps right now. This is getting pretty rough. And he was telling me, like, he had this really good analogy. He's like, you're creating like a cauldron, you're creating like a stew or something, and like, you're putting in all of your ingredients, right? You want to create the stew, this certain kind of flavor or texture, right? And he's like, once you start inviting other people into your life and their opinions, it's like they're throwing all their ingredients in your stew, and next thing you know, you don't know what you have in front of you. And I was like, and then I was also saying to him, I was like, man, like, I'm just having like a lot of voices in my head. My mind is a lot more negative last couple weeks than it usually is. Like, usually, you guys know me, I'm pretty on top of my mental health and physical health, all that kind of stuff. And lately it's been really rough. It's been really, like, negative. Like, I've been, like, kind of beating myself up, and I kind of knew why, but it just, like, after talking with him, it became very clear to me, oh man, like, I have so many voices in my head because I have so many opinions in my head. And then because I have so many, like, opinions of people, right? Like, like, and a lot of it is awesome. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys, and people that are watching this video, this, like, you guys rock, right? You guys are really part of this thing, and you guys give me space to be me. You guys don't be like, hey, do this, or I'm unsubscribing, or, all this stuff. Like, yeah, I love you guys, right? Like, it's, yeah, like I always say, man, in times of crisis, you really value who's just there and who doesn't push, and who just is like, I love you, I support you, and that goes a long way. That's kind of who I see the family as. And even, like, learning, like, how to friggin' do marketing. You know what I mean? That's another thing I've been learning the last, ever since starting the Patreon, right? It's like, how the hell do I do this? Like, how do I do this while maintaining my integrity? How do I do this while, not being too heavy-handed? Because, like, I tried being really nonchalant and, like, almost barely talking about it. And then, no, there was no excitement, right? People were like, okay, I don't even know what this is, right? Why would I join this thing if I don't know what it is, right? And then I became, like, really heavy-handed and like, hey guys, like, join the Patreon, you know what I mean? And I just, like, and at first, like, if my excitement, it came from a genuine place, but then it became like, okay, it's not it's not exciting anymore because I've been saying the same thing for so long. And then, like, I got off that, and I just kind of, I found what I liked, a nice place in the middle, just like, hey guys, if you want to support the channel, like, and get all these perks, definitely join the sports squad. And then I liked that for a long time, and that's still kind of like my favorite way to do it. Like, it's just kind of like, it is what it is. I'm proud of it. I love it. I know the patrons love it. I know the supporter squad loves it. And I'm just like, how, like, you know what I mean? It's because, like, the thing, that I'm thinking about too is, like, yeah, with reactions is like, there's yeah, they're like, you have to sustain yourself some way, and like, everybody sustains themselves different ways. Like, other people are doing this kind of like on the side, part-time, and that's cool. And they have, like, full-time jobs and stuff. I know some people in that position. And I don't even know. I'm like, because I've talked to some of them, and like, oh yeah, I want to find a way to to make this like a full-time thing. I want to be able to do this full time. And a lot of them are scared. Like they're like, they're kind of big enough to the point where they don't want to open that rabbit hole, that can of worms. And so they're like, yeah, I just don't know how to do it. So some people do like they get a sponsor, right? Like raid Shadow Legends. Like that's like the classic one, right? And I just, yeah, I don't resonate with that. Like that's just not kind of my thing. I feel like that dumbs down the channel, and that doesn't build any interaction between the community. Like that doesn't add anything, right? The other option would be, yeah, sponsors would be one. I'm trying. There is another one, other than like a kind of membership supporter kind of thing. It's not coming to me right now. Maybe it's just two. It'd be like, yeah, sponsorships. Oh yeah, paid like up and coming artist requests. So I get a lot of those, right? I get a lot of artists, and I used to do that. If you guys remember, I used to do that as a way, because I didn't want to do like kind of supporter squad Patreon stuff at that time. So I took requests, and it's just that stuff was so hit or miss that, like, if it was a good song, it was great. But if I really wasn't into it, like it just sucked. Like emotionally, I mean, not it sucked like as the artist, but it was just like, man, I just can't keep playing this roulette wheel. You know what I mean? Of trying to get a good artist. Like it just. And especially when I start doing that for money, like to sustain the channel, like it becomes very difficult to kind of keep my integrity and everything. And so, that the third option, the only one I can come across is the supporter squad, is the Patreon, right? And some people get really pissy at that. They go like, oh, how, like, at least there's some other art like reactors on YouTube not doing paid reactions. And I'm just like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, cool, like I literally don't know another way to do this. You know what I mean? I don't know how to sustain this thing without doing that. That is literally, I feel like, the best way, because at least, like, again, with this is the thing I was thinking about yesterday. I was like, with all this noise, like, it's crazy, like the amount of people who want you to do this artist, this song, this genre, react to Spanish music, like react to classic rock, react to metal. Like you get pulled in so many directions. I was talking to Mark Coleman on my podcast about this. He's a fellow reactor. A lot of you know him, and he had to take 8 months off YouTube because he felt like he was being pulled in so many directions. He was having anxiety because a lot of these people don't realize, like, the comments of like, oh, I love you. Like, thank you for making impact. I really love this video. Like, we love that. It's the random, like, non-emotional, just react to X, like react to this. And at first, like, it's fine. You just throw them on a sheet of paper, but then you get this massive sheet of paper of various different genres, and then you become really fragmented, right? Like your identity, your personality, in a sense, becomes fragmented because you're not choosing anything yourself anymore. Like you kind of get lost, and to some of you, maybe that's the point of reaction, is just the artist gets lost, and that's part of it. That's part of it for sure. Trying new things, right? The other part of it is mental health. That's difficult. That takes a toll. Like we're not meant to listen to 10,000 people all telling us to do different things and then getting mad at us if we don't, right? And it's like I'm a pretty, again, I'm a pretty vulnerable guy. You know what I mean? I open myself up a lot. Part of that is I feel a lot. And I could, like, sometimes I just get some FU energy and I get frustrated. But I don't like doing that, you know what I mean? And yeah, I don't like doing that. And then it's even like, let's say I stop looking at YouTube comments, right? Then people start messaging me on Instagram, right? Or DM me on Discord. Then I still get, tons of these different kind of things. So, like, it is what it is. I've just found, like, the Sport Squad works for me. Having a small kind of group of people who kind of choose the content, who are invested in the channel enough to actually, be part of it and sustain it. I'm just like, man, for better or for worse, this is what I choose right now. And maybe I'm not going to do this forever. I've even thought about, other kind of options and stuff. But for right now, I love it. It keeps it simple, keeps it small, it keeps it directed. And then like it's also a really beautiful give and take. Like for example, I get to kind of like for some of it, so obviously like they do requests where like they get to request whatever the heck they want, and I just do like one or two of them every week. The other part of it is like I bring to them artists and they choose the songs, so it's like I get to still kind of steer the ship. I still get to figure out, okay, like I'm not doing all the stuff I just hate and I don't like. And you know, I pick kind of artists that, you know, the channel loves. So I still like, in a sense, like I'm still absolutely listening to the YouTube audience because like we're bringing back Annie Lennox a lot, and Hart and Roxette and Kelly Clarkson because people love that, right? So it's this kind of like trifecta of the YouTube audience votes with their time and their views and their likes and their comments, and then that kind of funnels into me, where I kind of distillate what I like out of what the YouTube audience has liked. And then I bring that to the supporter squad, who then kind of points me in the directions they want to point me in, right? So it's kind of a beautiful way to kind of balance it three ways. And that's kind of where it's at right now. I've another thing is like I finally found my niche, obviously with this 70s, 80s, and 90s. And 2000s, like it seems like nostalgia is my niche. That is kind of what I'm going for, and I love it because you know I love that kind of music. You know, a lot of it's soulful, a lot of it's deep, and I love doing that. And you know, I feel like I went away from metal for a while because I was kind of trying to figure out who the heck I was and what this channel was, and you know, because you know obviously at one point I was doing all rock and metal. And then I went like really hard and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do any more metal ever again because I was getting really frustrated. And I was like, I need to figure out like a direction because I have this fragmented community of people that don't talk to one another and like in some ways don't even like hate each other's music. And that's, you know, the whole point of this was to create a, you know, community of like-minded, passionate people. Remember I used to say that in all my videos to share and communicate over what they're passionate about, something like that. And I didn't feel that. I felt like everything was super fragmented. And so when I started just figuring, okay, what do I love and what really resonates with people? What gets people to say, I love this reaction? Not I like this reaction or react to X, but like really like, you know, what do they really love? And that was what I chose. And now the community is very whole. It's very wholesome. It's very continued. It's just, yeah, very connected. And I love that. And now I've kind of chosen Friday or Monday. It's going to be Monday from now on. I've chosen Monday to be, you know, the random day. That's where we throw Spanish music, metal, R&B, country. And then rock will get, for the most part right now at least, again, I'm learning, never say this is set in stone. Because I've realized nothing is set in stone. Even as this channel grows and when I exhaust all of the classics, you know, I might start going hard into metal again. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I'm leaving this open because I've learned that if I try to close myself off to things, it just becomes really difficult. It becomes a prison of my own making, of my own creativity. And I have to let myself grow and adapt with it. And right now, this is what it is. But I think what I would like to do on the channel is in any given situation I'm in, have 6 days a week be dedicated to one kind of vibe. Again, 70s, 80s, 90s. I feel like that's kind of, you know, I've noticed the same kind of people like all those genres, right? People that grew up in the 80s love, you know, a lot of them love the 90s. A lot of my, you know, Heart fans love Backstreet Boys and Matchbox 20. Right? Goo Goo Dolls, that kind of thing. So I'm just, you know, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm liking it. And you guys can tell the vibe's different in me because, you know, it's a lot of growth. It's a lot of challenges. My whole friggin' ego has been like, my identity has been rung through the ringer. I'm a lot, you know, right now, less confident. You know, because I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning my decisions. I'm questioning my actions. And It's hard to be super confident because confidence really is like in a totality of energy moving in one direction. It's like lack of confidence is when your ideas and your all of your stuff is all over the place. Like confidence is unifying your energy, and just, you know, when you say something confidently, you don't have any thoughts on the contrary. It's like all forward. And so I've realized myself, man, I go through, I think maybe it's natural. I go through moments of intense confidence and then intense questioning. And that's it. It's like I'll go through a couple months of just like knowing what I'm doing, and then a month of this of just like, wow, I thought I knew what I was doing and I don't. And I'm figuring this out. And then sometimes any decision I made that was too strong when I was confident, it bites me in the ass after. And then I have to figure out like, oh, why did I set that in stone so much? Because now, you know, I have to change that. You know what I mean? I don't resonate with that decision anymore. So I'm realizing that I have to make this thing a bit more open to fluidity. I have to make this thing a bit more adaptable to myself and to you guys and everything. And that's big thing is integrity these last 3 months. Like I said, it's learning how to strike the balance of give and take. I think that's a big thing. And just getting away from the noise. Like, it's too much. I think it's too much for any human being. Why do you, like, you know, again, I've said that before, why do you think so many artists get burnt out? And, you know, take time off. This is, you know, they say don't read your own press, right? You know, good press makes you lazy and bad press makes you insecure. And that's true. I thought I was strong enough to overcome that, but it's not like strength. It's you're just allowing a lot of ingredients into your cauldron, you know, into your potion, into your soup, whatever you're creating. You're allowing a lot of ingredients in, ingredients that you're not choosing, right? And so it's like partially like what I did with the Discord is I created the vibe, I set up the foundation, and then I let you guys take it. You know what I mean? And I don't really do, like, you know, I step in and I talk to all of you guys, but I kind of let you guys just do your thing, right? And that's cool. I like that. I like creating the foundation, the vibe, the MO, the culture, and then letting you guys continue with it. And yeah, so anybody wondering about, you know, the Sports Squad, the Patreon stuff, that's it. It's like I kind of see it in terms of kind of levels of interaction. YouTube is they definitely vote 100% again with the numbers, right? They're voting with the numbers and to figure out, okay, who does this channel like? I figure out, okay, what do people like? And then I give it to the Sports Squad to pick the last final thing. You know what I mean? They choose the last part of that interaction. And I like that right now. I don't know if I'll like it forever, but I find it really works. Again, keeps the noise out. It makes less variables to deal with. You know, less thousands of people all trying to choose a direction. You know, so it is what it is. That is where I'm at, and I just wanted to open you guys up to my thought process, because, you know, I feel sometimes we can be very guarded because we know, like, once you open up this can of worms, people might get angry, you know, all this kind of stuff. And a lot of us are creative people. A lot of us are sensitive. It's part of it. You know what I mean? And the whole point is like managing your sensitivity, learning to, be open, but be closed at the same time, right? Again, I'm very open. I'm very vulnerable. I'm very honest. Part of that is then choosing the family that is going to steer this thing with me, right? You know, again, usually the people that support the channel really vibe with me, and I don't feel like I'm surrendering my integrity to them, you know, because, you know, by that process, they've already been vetted, you know what I mean? Yeah. So,